Let's see. I'm already need to know. Okay. We are. Are we're live, right? Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, we're live. What is good, guys? M.V.K here, as always, back again. Welcome back to another uh live open mic. I'm not in on my desk, guys. I am sitting on my bed, actually. Um, so that's why it looks awkward. I'm on the other side of my room. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well, as always. Very well indeed. It is August 27th, 2025. Uh, August came and gone. Man, next week will be the final 2 days of the month, and then we're off to September. Very interesting indeed. Uh, hey guys. So as always, guys, just let a lot of people come into the chat, and we'll hang out for a while and chit chat. I'll answer some of your questions. Perhaps I'll throw some questions back at you. But at the same time, you have a little fun, and yeah, uh, we'll do it from there. But in the meantime, just let a few people come into the chat. That's the first thing. Just let a bunch of people come in before we start off. But once again, as always, everybody is welcome. I do not, but if you start acting stupid, then yeah, I will block you. Um, that's what this. We're not about that. Not here. Don't bring all the cuckoo-ness. I'm just saying, real quick. Don't bring that. Yeah, man. But outside of that, guys, yeah, very very interesting. Hello, everyone. Still let people come in as always. So I just got finished watching AEW. Me and Malcolm, my brother and I, we sat down, and it's Wednesday, and so we sat down and watched AEW and Darby Allen. That the human man, that guy can take a beating. The shit that dude was just doing is ridiculous. It is just bona fide, bona fide ridiculous. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That man, when he gets older, he's gonna feel every bump that he has been. He's gonna feel it. I give him respect though. He does it, but yeah, the Jesus Christ. This is the man who just recently climbed Mount Everest, so I give him a lot of credit. Yeah, you go on top of the world when you do something like that. That's respect. You know, Mount Everest. Most of the time, you know how many people have died on that mountain, and the bodies are still up there. So yeah. But yeah, we got people coming in, still coming in. That's good. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'll give it about a few more minutes, and then we'll get this party started. Y'all can hang out with me for a while and chit chat and things like that. And yeah, we'll do it from there. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody's wondering what that is in the back of me, that's y'all should know who that is. Y'all know who that guy is. Come on, don't. Y'all know who that is. If who's going to be the first one to guess who that is? If you get it right, you get an A. I'm just letting you know. Um, I got this actually from Awesome Con in Washington D.C. So, which I actually want to go back to again. It's a smaller convention, but it's a fun convention, and I had a lot of fun when I went there a year ago. I think it was a year ago. I went there. It was fun. Uh, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, let's see. Anyway, we are getting ready to give it a little bit more time, and then we will start this off. Okay. Make sure my wolf medallion is on point. Yeah, it's on point. Yep, my wolf medallion. All right. All right, we got a couple people in here. Let's keep it going. Nathan. Whoa, hey Nathan. I didn't see you. right. All right. All right. All right. So we'll kick it off. Let's kick this off. Let's start it. We went on 5 minutes. We've been live for 5 minutes, and we'll just let the other people come in and so just want to say hello to everybody again. What's up, my pack? Uh the God of Comics is here. D Mick, okay, Galactus Girl, Andre, Nathan, Caroline, and let's go. Okay, so let's start this. Um, Wait, hold on. There's one other thing. I want to make sure. There we go. Make sure I usually I have two things on so I don't miss. Well, that's it. My thing's out of battery. That's not out. One moment. Okay. Sorry. All right. So I don't miss anybody's questions. Make sure I have another monitor, another board, just in case. Sometimes I miss questions and I hate that. So let's all right. All right. So we have want to make sure yeah, I got everybody. Hey, okay, so everybody's saying hey, hello. Andre is asking me how am I doing as of late. I've been fine. I've as best as I can be. Uh, I went to a place yesterday. Malcolm, my brother, and I we went to a place called K Pot. It's a Korean barbecue place. First time going, we had a lot of fun. Definitely got to go back. Uh, we had to everything. The food came out, and we cooked the food ourselves. It was really cool. It was fun. I enjoyed that very much. That was a lot of fun. There were certain things we liked, and then there were certain things like I'm black, so yeah, seasoning was we didn't have a lot of seasoning. Like when we had the shrimp, there was really no seasoning on the shrimp, so we had to. It was kind of weird, but we had these short ribs that was really good. That had some really kick on it. It was fun. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm yeah. So Eliza, yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, uh, one of my one of my mods in uh Galactus person, she has now moved to a she has now moved to the East Coast. She's no longer on the West Coast now, everybody. She is now in Cincinnati, Ohio. She is no longer in San Diego now. I know that has been a very interesting transition from moving from the West Coast to the East. But I like I told her before, you know it'll take some time, but you'll get used to it. Just look at it now, your new home. You know you're gonna definitely gonna experience snow, so that's something that you're gonna have to worry about now. But I've never been to Cincinnati, but you got some good places there. You got the Cincinnati Zoo, which is I know you love going to the zoo. I saw some of your pictures of like the wild turkeys you've been seeing, so that's cool. Also, and you still got to try Cincinnati chili, Skyline chili. That's like the big thing in Cincinnati, uh, and I think everywhere. Also, the Buckeyes, Buckeyes, like they're like these peanut butter balls with chocolate. It's supposed to look like the Buckeye tree, which is your new home state's tree. It's like a nut. It's like a Buckeye. Looks interesting. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, Liza, with the transition um, from the West Coast, from South California, Southern California now to Ohio. Uh, so let's talk. What's next? Who else is asking me questions? Aha, Nathan is asking me a question. So, what are your favorite books, comics these days? Favorite comics these days. Pretty much all the absolute DC books have been very fulfilling. Gail Simone's X Men has is anything Gail writes, I'm going to read. Um, a lot of the Mad Cave comics like Gotchaman and Dick Tracy. I'm looking forward to the Speed Racer. Um, the Captain Planet that's under Dynamite Comics is really good, which I will review soon. Um, the new Captain America is really good. I like that. The latest Captain America stories have been really good. So there's a lot of things. That's why I'm omni. I don't stick to one company. I'm very open to anything. Let's see. That's why. See, you see. That's why. Look, I missed almost missed. Okay. Um, got to come. The Hanma family versus the Mashiba family versus the Howard family. Who'd be the last family standing in that fight? Uh, More likely the Hanma or the Mashiba family. What the hell was that? Oh, okay. Most likely. Um, Jin and Zhao Yu should have a daughter or a son if they have kids together, and I hope Jin will be a good dad, not trying to be like his daddy. Oh, he would not be like his father. So trust me, if they did. Uh, Next question. Nathan Banks asks, with Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible in the books, what do you see in the future, in the franchise future? Who replaces Ethan Hunt? Do you think you see Mission Impossible heading back to TV? Not really. I don't think that it'll head back to TV, and I think it'll, I don't think anybody's going to take over that franchise because I think Tom put so much time into it. I think he kind of has rights to the franchise under Paramount. So no, I don't see anybody taking it over at all, and I don't see it coming to TV because it'd just be kind of weird in a sense. Uh, Blue Guardian, hey buddy, what's up, Blue? Terry Bogard or Ken Masters? That's a tough one because I love them both. Uh, it's a tie. I love them both, so I can't. Uh, and speaking of Ken, they actually the actor that's playing Noah Cent, who played Adam Smasher in Black Adam. He showed off a little bit of his look for because he's gonna play Ken in the new movie, which I'm gonna be real. That casting is just weird. It is just downright weird. And I don't have a lot of faith in the success of that movie. The casting is weird. To me, there are just too many professional wrestlers in this film that don't make any sense to me. That includes Roman Reigns. I don't approve of him being Akuma. I'm like, no. I don't approve. And then you got Cody Rhodes, that's gonna be Guile. You got 50 Cent playing Balrog. I'm like, the no, the casting is just so goddamn weird. It really is. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but y'all, it's hard. Uh, Today my cat, wait, Salem. Oh, okay. He knocked off. all my Max Fex collection. Luckily, he did not knock off my nightmare figure. I'm not mad at him. I'm just shocked that he did that. Cats will be cats. They're more independent than dogs. Just put it like that. They have you watched K-pop Demon Hunter yet? No, I haven't. Just haven't had the time. I still have not had the time to sit down and watch. The thing was in the movie theaters, y'all, and it did very well. They put it in the theaters not too long ago. I live in Pico, Ohio. I do get a lot of snow. Yeah, well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Galactus girl. She's what I'm talking about. Uh, Also, Jessica's voice actress also needs to be a singer. Apparently, yeah. I probably most likely. I think I read that one of their actresses was a singer. So, yeah, I did eat a Cincinnati I ate their hot dogs. They had a Skyline chili dog. Uh, I've been seeing migrating geese, which I never saw in San Diego. I'm gonna have to go to the Cincinnati Comic Expo. Yeah, they got that one too. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna see probably a lot of things animals you have not seen in Southern California. You're gonna see a lot of deer. I'm telling you that much. Caroline, I watched the movie Sinners twice now. You still got a lot of catching up to do, Caroline. I've watched it now over 8 times. So yeah, but probably my favorite movie of the year, Sinners. Love it. And I love the music. The music is great. Love it. Cyborg, do you think Parasite, Dr. Psycho, Livewire, Despero, and Gorilla Grodd would be good enemies to the X-Men? Take out Dr. Psycho, Parasite, maybe. Gorilla Grodd, maybe. Despero, I can see. And Livewire, depending on who could be it divisive with her. I've been thanking Mad Cave Studios and Dynamite for bringing Gatchaman, Speed Racer, Captain Planet, Space Ghost, and the Herculoids too. Yeah, the Herculoids book is good too. I do read that. I read the Herculoids. I read the Thundercats, uh, Space Ghosts. They're doing Dynamite guys. They have the Space Ghosts and Johnny Quest book called Space Quest together. They got Silverhawks, which is cool. Looking forward to reading that Fantastic Four and Gargoyles crossover coming this year, later in October, I think. And I read the Zootopia book, the Zootopia comic, so I do read that. What would okay? Caroline asks, what would be your idea for a werewolf movie similar to Sinners? Ooh, a werewolf movie taking place like a period piece similar to there was a book, a comic book, that dealt with werewolves during the Great Depression, um, and Prohibition. It's a comic. I'm forgetting the name of it. Mr. Multi reads it a lot. Shit, what the frig is it called? But something like that. That was what I would do. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a werewolf movie similar to Sinners. Sinners took place in the 30s. Um, I could see something like that too. Uh, but I've said it before, and I'll say it. As much as I love Sinners, this like the vampires were not very strong in that. They were weak. Those are probably the weakest vampires ever seen. Um, they were not strong. They were not, uh, because and people, I've had people argue with me online about that. Like, what are you talking about? They were. I'm like, dude. At the end, when they're fighting everybody, like you would think, oh, they had no chance. They were doing well against a group of vampires. The only one, even against Remick, they were like and it was great. But like I said, They were not very strong. You know, vampires are supposed to be strong, right? Like they're supposed to be stronger than 20 men or something like that, depending on you whichever lore. But it was still a fun book. It's still my favorite movie of 2025 so far. I still need to see the I still need to see um what's the oh shoot, the movie, um what is the name of that damn movie? With Julia Gardner. Yeah, she's in it again. Julia. It's not the. What is it called again? Shit. Uh, what the hell is that name of that? Oh, the Weapons. I still need to see Weapons. I haven't seen that yet. And I'm really happy for Julia Gardner. She's been doing a lot of work, like as of late. You know, um, just alone in 25, she had like 3 movies. She was in no, yeah, she was in the latest Wolfman. She was in the Weapons, and she played the Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four. So yeah, she's I knew who she was because I watched a little bit of the Ozarks, so I know she was in that. But big ups to her. She's been really cool. Um, Let me see. I'm going to the Nebraska versus Cincinnati college football game tomorrow night over at Kansas City with my mom and my. Oh, that's cool. That's gonna be fun. That should be fun. Them college games be fun. Them, I my brother's looking forward to because college football starts up soon, so he's looking forward to that. I love the MonsterVerse. What kaiju's should be added? Well, all of them. Just put it like that. Do you see the Marvel Cinematic Universe getting rebooted after Nathan? Haven't you been up to speed? They already stated it's getting somewhat a restart. Secret Wars After Secret Wars, the cinematic universe is getting somewhat of a reboot, which is also we're gonna see the recasting of Iron Man and recasting of Captain America. They Kevin Feige already said it. He stated it. We don't know how much is going to get rebooted, and we don't know how much is going to stay intact. But they already stated that it's going to be like a fresh start, not a reboot, but more like a refreshment of characters, and of course the incorporation of the X-Men and everything like that will play a big factor. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I agree. The casting of Street Fighter, especially Cody Rose in playing, and Alan Rickman should have been a better. Um, I think Alan Richardson is great, but I think he's too big to be playing Guile. Guile is not over tall. He's not that tall. Guile's he's just too big to be playing. He's just too big to be Cub. Someone, I don't mean. I just don't. The problem with it is I just don't like that they have all these professional wrestlers. That includes even E Honda is playing going to be played by a pro wrestler. Um, the one casting that I really enjoyed was the casting of Ryu, and I'm like, oh, he's perfect. You know, if you watched the show Warrior, the main actor in that he's going to play Ryu, and I'm fine with that. And when they showed who's going to play Chun Li, I was like, okay, she better not miss leg day. That's all I said. She better not skip leg day. I'm not even feeling who's playing Bison in that. I'm like, he's Bison, really? I'm like, ugh. It's weirding me out. It's just like if they were gonna, why didn't they just let the people who did Street Fighter Assassin's Fist do a movie? Josh Brolin, I think, would have played Bison. Josh Brolin as Bison, maybe. Uh Kazuya versus Ozai from Avatar who would win, and who would be the last man standing? Well, here's the thing about the Avatar universe. They never throw punches. When have you ever seen them really throw a punch, or especially when you got a bender? It's different. It's different. It doesn't really work. Andre, you ask. So quick question: how do you think Batman and the Bat family would react if a group of intergalactic fugitives from a recently destroyed alien planet decided to move into Gotham? Bruce would be on alert real quick. You know how paranoid that man is. Bruce is paranoid to the extreme. He would legitimately be on edge, like always watching just to make sure, you know. But I think, if they're, because he's going to determine, are they hostile or are they friendly? Look how he was with Superman, very cautious for a while. Let's see. What if Craven the Hunter hunted the Thundercats? Could he catch them? Yeah, he wouldn't beat them though. He wouldn't beat them. Panther alone, he would have a trouble with. Um, let's see. What do you hope to see in the Legend of Aang animated movie? Everything. Just the old gang back together. How good Aang was when he got older, because we only saw snippets of that when he was in when we saw in Legend of Korra. And speaking of Legend of Korra, I actually went back. I've been gone back and started watching rewatching the series. Let's see who else we got. D-Mick, who went crazy in your chat to where you had to block them? I'm lost. Oh, there was a couple of people, couple of chats, couple many times. People have come into the chats and just said some stupid stuff, and I'm like, well, who is this? And I just blocked it. Like, all right, get out, or kicked them out. They're not even worth mentioning. It's just I've had it done before. I had to knock some people out. Godzilla has a contract he can't lose, so he's just like the basically. Well, that's you're talking about comic wise, because in the Godzilla, the first miniseries with Godzilla versus, I knew they weren't gonna. There was never gonna be any kind of real victors over. But the Thor versus Godzilla was probably the best one out of those one shots. I really enjoyed that one the most. But yeah, yeah, I find that really weird with The Rock. Like he's got that no lose. That's so stupid. That really is. It really is. Besides King Faraday, what DC character would Nick Fury interact with the most? Amanda Waller. There you go. Uh, hey, somebody said guts. Ding, ding, ding. What's his real name? Now, what's his full name? Nobody will get that. If you do get that, I'll give you another ding up for that. Did you hear that? Yeah, I heard uh Warhawk about the Rajah Jackson. That was stupid. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. It is disgusting at the same time, especially when you get the whole full story and you actually watch videos of everything, including the one he knocked the shit up, beat the shit out of, basically apologize and tell him like, I'm sorry, I thought and then you go in and hear talking about they're going to work this into a story. It's just like, it's ridiculous. I haven't finished listening to Monster talk about it, but yeah, I was waiting for him to talk about it, and I kind of did get a little bit of it. I was listening to it earlier. I paused it because I was watching AEW when I was but yeah, I think it's ridiculous, and it's just stupid, and it really is. I've seen other people talk about it too. Conan the Barbarian from Mortal Kombat one. No, Conan is Conan's. Do not try to mix. Oh, because no, Conan's Conan. He's a guest star in Mortal Kombat, but Conan is Conan. And even if Tusk would lose, there you go. Ain't nobody beating Conan. You're not beating the Sumerian. No. Why? Because Conan was made. He was birthed on the battlefield. That man yeah. Uh so how do you feel about Lady Shiva? How do you think Lady Shiva will react to someone like Chung Li? I did a fantasy fight about this a long, long time ago, between Chung Li and Lady Shiva. Uh, and I've said it before. I think Shiva would have respect for Chung Li, but she would question that strongest woman in the world. She's going to challenge that to the teeth. She's going to be like, "Oh yeah, really, really, you? Okay, let's put that to the test. Well, let me test your Pai Kui and I forgot the other martial arts that Chung Li know, but yeah, but again, then you're looking at the point of view of Chung Li also being a law enforcement agent. So yeah, that's going to play a big factor. So yeah, she'll question that. She'll question that strongest woman title real quick. Netflix. If Netflix if Netflix does a Baki versus Street Fighter movie, would what fight would you want to see in that? And they'll never do that. That's never going to happen. Baki and Street Fighter really don't mix. They really don't. On reality wise, they don't mix. And not at all. They don't mix because while Baki tries to stay true to like martial arts, Street Fighter takes martial arts and also takes fantasy and lore of martial arts to here. So what I mean by that is we're talking about yeah, and then they can manipulate their chi and everything and throw fireballs and all that stuff. Yeah, no, it would be like interesting, but like for example, like Yujiro versus Akuma, like who Akuma would love it, but most likely he win. He'll win. He'll probably be the one to beat Yujiro. What did you think of Terminator Dark Fate? It's been 5 years since it last appeared. I don't think it was mostly good. Yeah, they tried to capitalize on what worked for Scream. I think it was Scream. Yeah, it worked for Scream. It doesn't work for that. Shang-Chi versus Jen. That'd be fun. I'd like that. That'd be kind of cool. Namor when he laughed at Dr. Doom's wedding. Remember that? Yeah. Do you know why he laughed at that? Do you know why? There's a reason for why he was laughing because Johnny slept with his wife, his betrothed. Yeah. So do you think Superman would hire a part-time dog sitter for Crypto? No, because if you watch the movie, Crypto wasn't even his dog. He was babysitting Crypto for who? Kara. She comes at. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but if you haven't seen Superman, she comes at the end and she's like, "Can I have my dog back?" And she takes her dog. And she's drunk and everything. I'm like, yeah. What if the Water Tribe were the villains instead of the Fire Nation? There's actually a fan comment about that. Um, I think that's kind of ridiculous because the way they were explained the Water Tribe in the series, they would never turn like that. That's why I can't agree with that. You know, just the way they even when Iroh explains why the Fire Nation is the way they are, they're all about rule and power and everything like that. And so it could never be the Water Tribe. Interesting, but no, I don't like that. I really don't. I don't like that, Caroline. What is the stupid thing that? Yeah, Johnny slept with his wife. That's why. Uh, in AEW, MJF is still awesome. MJF is an asshole. There you go. I said it. He's a punk, and he lost, and good for him. Um, I don't like the fact that they still gave him another shot at um going after the title, but then again, I'm looking at the scope of AEW right now, and I'm like, else would challenge who else would challenge Cowboy for the belt? And there are a lot of injuries now, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like MJF is like the only like heel wise MJF, because I don't want Moxley anywhere near that belt. His reign of year reign was it was done. I was done with that a long time ago. So yeah, they need to build somebody. Like tonight, Don Callis came on and said there he's got, and I'm looking at what he's got, and I'm like, well, it ain't him. It ain't him. Yeah, he ain't going at like no. Uh, best heel today. Best heel today. In what company or just in overalls? Um, I definitely put MJF up there like as one of the best heels in general. He gets major heat. The other one I'll put Dominic Mysterio. That guy, he gets major heat. That is crazy. Do you think Matt Reeves Batman should just go ahead and merge with the? No, I do not. Uh-uh. No, I do not. Matt Reeves Batman should stay in his own universe, stay as an Elseworld story. I don't want him merging because I don't want a grounded Batman in the DC. I actually want a Batman that is I've seen grounded Batman enough. I don't need to see that no more. I really don't. I don't want to see Matt Reeves, especially the fact that if the Brave and the Bold movie is supposed to be Batman and Robin, and it's going to be Little Big Head, which but Patterson don't look old enough and isn't old enough to be a father in a sense. Like that Batman ain't even focused on kids and how when we haven't even seen like, no, thank you. Uh Lady Shiva versus June, who to win? Going Shiva to a degree. I don't really like mixing that stuff too much. If they do a Predator versus Street Fighter, that's not fair. I don't like that. I really don't. And they would never do it because they Udon and Marvel, I don't think would ever mix together. I hope the Terminator movies does not go the multiverse like well, that's exactly what they did in Dark Fate. Dark Fate was basically they did that. They tried to do they copied the same kind of aspect of Halloween. That's what they did. Basically Halloween, like Halloween 1 and 2, and then Halloween 2018. That was like that was another branch. So that's what they tried to do. Street Fighter 2 animated movie still better than any. Uh, Still, yes. The animation. I just recently rewatched that, and Street Fighter 2, the anime movie, is still the animation is still as good as it when it first dropped. Um, I actually not too long I was on Reddit and I had posted a few clips of the Street Fighter 2 fights like Chung Li and Vega. I did that when I posted that when Vega was fighting her in her apartment. And people were just saying, like, man, is great. I'm like, yeah, it's still up there. But Assassin's Fist is the best live action. That was the best. Um, what do you hope to see in Supergirl movie? The Supergirl movie will be basically the story, the Girl of Tomorrow story. Super. If you ever read Supergirl, Girl of Tomorrow, that's pretty much what that story is going to be based off of. Um, I'm really interested in seeing Lobo because Lobo's going to be in that movie, played by Jason Momoa, the role that he should been playing. So yeah, um, indeed. Uh, let's see. I hope James Gunn gets perfect actor for Kyle because I realize he loved using underrated characters. Well, Kyle isn't underrated. I never was. I would never call Kyle underrated. I'll just say that he's just unused because when he is a Green Lantern, and there are other Green Lanterns before him, and with the Lantern TV show coming out, that's going to have Hal and John, and then you already got Guy in there, and they may skip Kyle again. As much as I'm holding out hope, they may skip him again, and bring. We already got enough males. Let's bring in like Jessica, because the new cartoon that's going to be that the Green Lantern cartoon is going to be Jessica Cruz is going to be the main star. Chris, do you know that the movie they don't mention, but I thought was creepy was the movie Phantasm. Phantasm. Have I ever seen that? Uh, I don't know if I. What was Phantasm? Let me see. Uh, I'm trying to see. Did I ever see that? That's a '70s movie, right? Like I think that came on in the '70s. I Okay, wait, let me see. 1979, uh, starring A. Michael Baldwin. I don't remember this. I don't think I've seen it. Maybe I need to sit down and watch it. I can't remember if I've seen it or not. Uh, Andre, so how come Lady Shiva is considered one of the deadliest fighters within DC Comics when she's literally a whole she's literally a whole island of Amazon wars on the other side of the world? Why? Simple. Because there's a reason for why she's considered one. Because again, Amazons are warriors, but what do they use? They use weapons. Don't sit there and say they don't. Every Amazon uses a weapon. Shiva is she uses her body as the weapon. She doesn't use weapons. Not only that, she knows dead martial arts that have long been not used. She is, and of course, look at her daughter. Her daughter is like a prime example of what she can do. Look, believe it or not, in terms of the Bat family, Cassandra Cain is the best fighter out of all of them. That includes Bruce. That includes Bruce. Cassandra Cain is the best. Now Cassandra now has a real bona fide biological brother. In the comics right now, in her own comic, uh, Cassandra found out she has a brother. She has a half brother, and he's known as the Jade Tiger because why? His father is who? Ben Turner, aka Bronze Tiger. So Bronze Tiger and Cassandra's mama got busy and had a kid, which is kind of interesting because I remember Bronze Tiger being in love with Lady Shiva's sister, but they explain it. I don't want to spoil it too much for it, but yeah, it has something to do with prior to her and Ben, her sister, getting with Ben. So yes, not going to spoil it. If Injustice Gods Among Us has a third game, do you ever think you ever see Clark changing? It was too good to be true once Clark was released to um I doubt it. I don't think they're going to do another Injustice because unless Tom Taylor writes a new one, because remember it started with a comic series. Tom Taylor wrote it, but even still, if he came out the Phantom Zone, he wouldn't change, and that's why I don't like Injustice Superman. I don't like it, and I've said it before, and I got my reasons for why. Because again, even if that happened, Clark would never change that much. That would not affect him to become this totalitarian dictator like he was. No, no way. Do you think Josh Central has potential in AEW? I think so. He was great in TNA. Right now, Josh Alexander Warhawk is just another guy on the roster. That's all he is. He's just another guy on the roster. Tonight, he got a win. Yeah, nice, but he's just another guy on the roster. He is not built and made to feel special. Um, and you know why I know that? Because his former partner is looked at more special than he is. So yeah, Josh Alexander is not. He's not looked as just. He's just looked as another guy on the roster. He really is. It's sad too because he's really good. He was good in TNA, but TNA. Let's be real. TNA has ceilings, and once you reach that ceiling, it's like where do you go from there? TNA is it's a good stomping ground to learn the craft, but over time you have to pull away from it. Sometimes you do. You really do. Um Moving on. The God of Comics. I'm making a story about Kyle Rayner's daughter. I'm building up. She came out as a lesbian. I'm building that up, and I'm not done with the story, but I'll be finished. Kyle's daughter. Okay, yeah, Kyle's okay. So what is this? A future story? Because Kyle don't have no kids. Black Lagoon anime. Do you watch? Of course, I watch it. Black Lagoon. I can watch that in sub and in English. That is one anime that I don't mind watching in English dub. John Moxley just John Moxley just trying to be yeah, it ain't working. Thank you and take care. Thank you, Dwell. I meant who would be Crypto's dog sitter within the comics because I already saw that the new Superman movie. Well, Crypto don't need a babysitter. He's a grown dog, and he's fine. You don't need no babysitter. You really don't. Even in the comics, he doesn't. Who's your favorite character in Creature Commander? GI Robot. There you go. That's my favorite. Oh yeah, the new Jessica Cruz show. Kyle will be in. I don't. Is he going to be in that? I didn't see that. Uh. Do you see? Do you see a fan film? I saw that fan film. That fan film. Uncharted short where Nathan Fillion played Nathan Drake. Yeah, I've seen it. Do you watch new King of the Hill series? No, I was never really a big King of the Hill fan anyway. Uh, Still sad what happened to one of the actors on there. Jin Kazama and Cassandra. Do you think they would be good friends? Caroline X's. Who's your favorite absolute? What is your favorite absolute uh title so far? Well, I only read four actually. Yeah, I actually read five. I read Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Flash. So if I was ranking them, uh, it would go Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern. There you go. That's just me. Um, Wait a minute, one moment. All right, let's see. Where was I? Okay. Andre asks, "How would the world of Avatar would react if someone decided to create a new breed of bending, like blood benders, uh, called them bone bending? Ew, that's nasty. That's sick. Blood bending was sick anyway. Bone bending, ew. Matter of fact, who's winning in terms of who's winning the tops? Who's the top tonight? Trying to, I didn't even see who was going. All right, we have number one is Caroline. Number two is Nathan. And number three is Travis. Those are the top three. Nice. Keep it going. All right. What was that? Caroline asks, "What's one thing you change from Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Legend of Korra?" Something I would change. Well, Legend of Korra, definitely the villains. I they started to feel redundant and the same thing over and over. I was a little tired of that. I was like, yeah, okay, they just feel the same. They really do. That's definitely something I would change. Uh Travis, AEW, just like WCW, misuses talent. Oh yeah, they do, and they're not the only ones. But yes, Tony Khan. I don't. I've said this. I've been very vocal about it. I don't like how Tony Khan uses the New Japan guys. There's only a certain amount of them. If they're signed to them, if they're signed to AEW, yeah, you'll see it. Because look how he treats Okada, or I should say 1% Okada, because he just every time it just feels like everything slows down with Okada for him. Like he doesn't and you would think, oh, all the bumping he's did, yeah, you get it, but then it's not. It's like they go soft on him. I'm like, God damn. Um, but I, they're like, to me, one of the misuses I feel like what he has with in A is his women division. Willow Nightingale, that's my girl, and I think she should be higher on the chart than she is. But he is so much. The problem is every woman that is in that company is stuck behind Tony Storm. That that timeless gimmick she does is just it's just completely like she's here and everyone else is below her. It's hard to top that, and is more proof of that. Like there were points where she was the heel, and this person was supposed to be the face, and they were cheering for her. Like it's just she's just too is, and you could tell. But Willow Nightingale gets cheered. She's proof that the whole baby face, that baby that she has that. I'm just tired of the same stories with her. This Statlander nonsense with her is needs to come to an end. It's ridiculous. Tonight was probably the worst of it. Um, what cartoon series from Marvel would you like to see brought back and continue? It can be any show. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I saw this post on Twitter. Asks who will win, Danny Phantom or Yusuke? Well, that's weird. Why would they fight? That's dumb. They should make a movie about Godzilla in hell. Never happened. Uh, Blue Guardian asks, "Who's your favorite Titan?" Can't say Nightwing. Starfire. I love Star. I love Corey. Corey is great. I wish Robin Williams and Jim Carrey was in a movie together. Maybe in a different reality that happened. Yeah, maybe. That would have been really cool to see them work together. I just watched an interview with the director of Night at the Museum, and he talked about it because that was Mr. Williams' last movie he made, and they talked about he and Robin Williams had some interesting things to say, and it just showed how much he still was in awe of his occupation. So I really it just showed what he was, and there are guys that I still miss, like the entertainers that I miss, like for example, Robin Williams is up there. John Candy, I miss John Candy so much. I grew up with John Candy. Um, I was recently. I'm already, I know he's been gone, but James Earl Jones. I miss him already. Like I'm miss him. Uh, because I just watched a video. Well, actually, I did it for one of my Patreons. They wanted me to react to this trailer of what if they made a Justice League movie in the '70s, and the actors they would have got to play the superheroes, and they had like Clint Eastwood playing Batman, Christopher Reeves still playing Superman, Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. Um, they had they had who else they had? I think they had Steve McQueen as Hawkman. Yeah, they had Burt Reynolds as Captain Marvel. I was like, I wasn't feeling that one. Uh I forgot who they had as Green. Oh, I think it was Robert Redford was Green Arrow. But they had Sidney Poitier as Martian Manhunter. And the voice of Darkseid was James Earl Jones. I was like, that was kind of. I was like, okay, I could. Then I had to watch another trailer where if they made an Avengers movie, I'm gonna upload that. That's gonna be uploaded tomorrow. Um, and it was an Avengers trailer where it was made in the '70s, and then they had Burt Reynolds as Iron Man, and I was like, okay, now there you go. They had Robert Redford at Captain America. They had Steve McQueen as Hawkeye. They had Raquel Welch as Black Widow. I was like, oh my god, that is spot on. See how and they had Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby as the Hulk and Bill Bruce Banner. They had who else did they have? They had they had Robert De Niro as Bucky. Like I was like, okay, that's all right. And Carl Weathers was the Falcon, uh, and Leonard Nimoy Spock was the Vision. I was like, I like that, and that probably would have happened too. Uh, they had Marlon Brando as Thanos. I was like, yeah, he's gonna make him an offer. He's gonna. They had uh, they had Arnold Schwarzenegger as Thor. I was like, '70s Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been perfect as Thor. Hell yeah. I was like, yeah. Um, who else they had? They had Goldie Hawn as the Wasp. They kept Michael Douglas as Ant-Man. Um, who else they had? Who was? Harrison Ford as Star Lord. Carrie Fisher as Gamora. Cher as Mantis. They had Sylvester Stallone as Drax. I was like, no. I was like, he's too small. I was like, no, he's too small. That doesn't work. And Sigourney Weaver was Nebula. Uh, it was interesting. I'll put that up. It's going up tonight. I'll fix it. I've still got to edit it. But yeah, one of my patrons asked me to react to it. I've been he's giving me some of these things to react to, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like there was these I reacted to them not too long ago. They were like people were interviewing superheroes or anti-heroes or villains. Um, there was something else in the 70s Justice League. Oh, Christopher Walken as Joker. I was like, okay, that was pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. So yeah, those are fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's AI, but it was fun. My Patreons asked me. He asked me to do it, so I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Uh, let's see. What was I? Oh, no promotion is perfect. To be honest, nobody's saying there isn't, but nobody's saying that there isn't any. No promotion has flaws. Everybody has flaws, but when you look at the scope of AEW, it's like they're a talent that should be here, but they're not. Like right now, like for example, I look at talent like Queen Aminata, and I'm like, she should be doing so much more. I look at Athena in high regards, and I'm like, she shouldn't even. She did not sign a Ring of Honor contract. She signed an AEW contract. She should not be stuck behind a paid wall, but she is. There's not a lot of people that watch Ring of Honor. Let's be real, and she should not be there. She should be on the main roster of. She should be on AEW TV, not Ring of Honor TV. So I've had a fun idea for a new DC Comics hero called Ham, the Goldfish Detective, which shows the adventures of a super genius goldfish named Ham and his 10-year-old owner sidekick Angelina Castro. Okay, that's weird a little bit because is the fish anthropomorphic or is he just still a fish? Is he supposed to be like Detective Chimp? That's what I'm getting at. Uh, Caroline, one thing I'd change about Legend Core is to probably making Asami a villain for at first, but then going through a redemption. I didn't mind that too much. That didn't bother me. And do you think 2000 616 Quicksilver will hate Ultimate Quick, the old one I'm talking about? Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. He would hate it because the fact that those two, he and no, yeah, he would be disgusted. Yeah, you actually are in a relationship with your sister. Ugh, come on, man. They did not sugarcoat that. No, him and Wanda were a couple. That's disgusting. Don't do that incest stuff, man. Get out of here. Did you see the trailer for the new animated movie, Sony movie Goat? No, I have not. Uh, uh, where are we? Um, there's this Disney book series called A Twisted Tale. It's pretty similar to Marvel's What If. I think I've heard of this. You heard about? Yes, I have heard about this. Yes, I have. Never read one, but I've heard about it. Got a comment says, "Do you have a Nightwing and Daredevil figure from? If you do, they look cool." I haven't gotten a lot of figurines, and I'm not a figurine guy. I'm more of a statue guy or stuff like that. I mean, there have been people who've gotten me like action figures of, of some of you guys have, gifted me like action figures of like characters. I got a couple. I'm looking at a couple over there. There's a Dark Hawk, Spider Man. These are like Marvel Legends. A friend of mine got me a Bruce Lee figure. Um, I got a, I got like of a, I got a Venom around here somewhere. I haven't opened them. I got a Doc Ock. No, I got a He Man. I got a Mumra somewhere. Uh, I got a Ninja Turtles. I got a couple of figures, but I'm more of a statue dude. Um, like, yeah, I love statues and not figures, statues. Like my Godzilla, like I got over there and stuff like that. Um, uh, should we see should we see a Superman versus Iron Man film in the future? That would be major slaughter. Optimus Prime, Prime. That's not a good. That's not a good fight. I don't want to see Superman making Tony look like a. He'd make Tony look weak. He really would. You could all the tech in the world would not have Tony lose to Superman. I hope they don't ruin Spaceballs with the sequel. Well, they got the everybody from the original is mostly coming back. Even to get Rick Moranis to come out of retirement was special, and um, John Candy's son will play his dad's role, Barf. So I think that's very special. I read that. I was like, oh, that's cool. His son is going to play Barf. Did Spaceballs need a sequel? No, it didn't. It really didn't. It was fine the way it is. I love Spaceballs. It's one of my favorite movies. It didn't need a sequel, but you know, nostalgia is a killer, and people like nostalgia. What if Christopher Reeve Superman existed in Michael Keaton's Batman universe? Interesting. Travis, what was it? Travis says, I didn't know Jason Patrick was the grandson of Jackie Gleason. Wait, for real? Are you serious? Yo, hold on. I gotta look that up. For real? Jason Patrick, who played Michael in Lost Boys. Uh, are you for real? Are you for real? Grandparent. Whoa! Holy shit! It is grandparent. He's Jackie Gleason's grand. You know what? I can see the resemblance too now. I didn't know. Whoa! I never knew that. Damn, you learn something new every day. Shit. Holy crap. I did not know he was. I can see the resemblance too. I could see the I did not know. I did not know he was. But but I'm also seeing here that there's a he was on uh the actor who played Lex Luthor in Smallville, his podcast, and he talks about he didn't have a good relationship with his grandfather. That's oh man, that's messed up. Wow. But I could tell the one thing I could tell about Jason Patrick, like I know a New Yorker when I see one, and I was like, yeah, I could tell. And once it's you could we New Yorkers could tell who's a New Yorker. Like it's easy to pick up on that. It's just the way we carry ourselves. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I can see that. I never knew that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Who wrote that? I want to make sure. Travis, thank you for that. I did not know he was Jackie Gleason's grandson. Wow. Ultimate Quicksilver and Oligor was disgusting. Yeah, it was disgusting. It was disgusting. That's why I don't like a lot of the original Ultimate Universe work. They Casada and Millar, they just went out of their way to just make characters hateable, disgusting. It just you talk first. The whole point of the Ultimate Universe in the beginning when they started was supposed to be for people imagining these characters if were they came about in the modern times, not like in the 60s and stuff like that. And at first that started out well, and then the quality just started to go down. And I hated it. I hated it. I hated how they made Captain America in that, and he was just it. No, I can't. And then when they brought in Ultimate Quicksilver and Wanda, I'm like, yo, they too touchy on each other, and I already got bad vibes. I'm like, oh, yo, come on, man. Like, you do what? Like, why as a writer, why would you write that stuff? Like, why would you have? What is the obsession with incest? What the fuck is wrong? Like, I can't with that. I don't get it. Like, I really don't. Like, if you got a sister or you're a sister that got an older brother, you looking at your brother like that? Yeah, I can't talk now. Do you think Marvel and DC will bring back superhero cartoons in the near future? Well, X-Men's coming back soon, and again, I will. This year already made my day. I already had a highlight of this 2025 because I got to meet Lenore Zane, the voice of Rogue. Got to meet her. That was so special to me. She was a sweetheart. Met her at MegaCon this year and got a got autograph signed by her. I hugged her. It was just, and I even told her like to talk as Rogue to me just once, and she said she said, "How's that, sugar?" I was like, that just made my day. I was like, oh, that just made my day. Y'all know how I am with Rogue, so it was cool. Um, so yeah, it that was a highlight of this year for me, for real. So yeah, I mean, but sure, I mean, animation is great. I mean, Super My Adventures of Superman will be back soon. They're doing that My Adventures of Green Lantern soon. Yeah, there's a lot of like animated stuff that's coming out. There's the Marvel Zombies that's coming out. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's fine. Uh Blue Guardian, new Resident Evil 9 trailer. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Resident Evil Requiem. I saw the new trailer and then I saw gameplay and I saw the fucking creature that's going to be chasing you in this game. Oh my god, that thing look. I was like, what the hell? Got bugs in my fucking flies. I said, I was like, I saw it and I'm like, what? It's like, what the fuck is that? What? I was like, we just got done with this shit now. Again, we had fucking fly. Okay, first we had they did the remakes, and you had Mr. X chasing you. Then they did the remake for 3, and you got Nemesis chasing you. And then of course in 8, you got Lady Demetresque chasing you, you stupid man thing, and all this chasing you, and then now we got the ninth one, and this this I don't know what to call her, but she's big. She's she's uh she's big. She's tall. She's got these lanky arms and these big tears stick. And but she can't come near light because when she comes, she burns. She goes, "Arr!" And I'm like, that. I was like, oh God. I was like, not again. I was like, not again. But what's really interesting about Resident Evil 9 is the character who you're playing with and her mother. I'm like, when I heard the name, I'm like, wait a minute. I said, I know that name. I was like, put my Resident Evil hat on. Boom. Where'd that come from? And I said, she was one of the survivors and playable characters in Resident Evil Outbreak. And I was like, oh, I was like, okay, they're going back on that. But yeah, that thing scared the crap out of Guardian. I was like, oh, yeah, that's gonna make me scream. That's gonna freak me out. I'm like, yeah. And so yeah, I like what I saw. Yeah, I'm not joking. That freaked me out. They're killing it with the beat 'em up games. Oh yeah, because they got a He-Man beat 'em up game coming out soon. I can't wait for that. I saw gameplay of that, the Master of the Universe game, and I'm like, this plays like Golden Axe. I'm like the inner child in me just came. I'm like, "Ugh, my childhood hero still getting love. Should have long time coming. There should have been a He-Man game a long time coming. Not even joking. Uh, so Ham the goldfish would be a well-spoken, talking, super genius goldfish, private eye, who lives in the Castro's family in Gotham's East End, but still has to live in a fishbowl. Okay, okay, that's funny. So how does he do the job then? The little girl can't be walking around in crime scenes. Like that's weird. Uh, what voices do you hear in a Wally West comic book when you read them? Wally. I think I just hear who voiced him in Justice League sometimes. How about She Hulk in the Ultimate Verse? Now that was disturbing and disgusting. Well, if I'm not mistaken, She Hulk in the Ultimate Universe was not Betty. She wasn't Jennifer Walters. I think she was Betty. So they that didn't make any that was okay to a degree. I was all right with that. I hope they do a Predator versus Ninja Turtles crossover. Won't happen. Remember, Predator's under Marvel now, and they're not going to do that right now. Predator is doing. I think they just wrapped up Spider-Man versus Predator. Now they're doing Predator kills the Marvel universe, and I'm not going to spoil anything because I haven't read this Spider-Man, and every time I see images of what's coming from the Predator kills the Marvel universe, I don't even look at it. Um, I would never forget when I read the Ultimate, Wanda. Can we kind of get off of the Ultimate Wanda stuff? I was like, what exactly am I reading? Yeah, I can't with them like this. I'm done. I can't. Like, here's another thing I got a problem with the old Ultimate Universe. Millar's obsession with cannibalism. I have no idea. Like everything was like the Hulk in that was like a cannibal. He always was eating somebody. Blob. I mean, just that sight of Blob eating Janet was just I'm like, what the fuck is like? What is wrong with you, man? You crazy Scotsman? Like, what's wrong with you? Too much haggis? Like, come on, man. Like, what is wrong with you? Stop. Like, what is your obsession with cannibalism? Um, what's one thing you to change about my adventures with Superman so far? Um, I really was some of the villains I didn't like too much. The design for them, I would have changed some of their designs. Um, I wasn't even that fond of how they incorporated Supergirl. I was like, why is she so angry? I was like, I didn't like that too much. Uh, uh, what Sonic character do you not care for? Uh, mm, Rouge. I don't really care for her too. I really don't. Rouge the Bat. I don't care for her too. I'm like, so what? I'm like, what's she here for? Really? She's just a sexy Batgirl. I don't care. I really don't. I don't. I swear, if they kill off Leon and Nine, I'm done with the game. Where's this coming from? Everybody keeps saying Leon is in that game. I don't. There's no evidence that he's in that game. I really don't. And Leon, I doubt they kill him off. Hey, get out of here. Who's your favorite character in Resident Evil? Uh, Jill, Chris, Leon. That's how it goes. I'm a Jill Valentine guy. I love Jill. Um, Jill is my favorite in female in Resident Evil. Yeah, Claire will come later. I like Claire. I like Sheva. Sheva is cool. I wish Sheva came back. But she's in Africa. But yeah, I would love to see them. I really wish like the last. I wish the last Resident Evil was more like the last Resident Evil animated movie, Dead Island, where you had the whole old school cast all together. That was fun. That was so much fun to see Jill and Chris and Claire and Leon and Rebecca all in one. I was like, that was cool. I love that. That was fun. Um, I swear, I thought they were going to make Chris. Everybody thought they were going to make Chris the villain. That would be stupid. I don't understand why they like doing that, putting those twists to characters. Winberg did Chef Iron was just. Oh yeah, who was more smarter, Dexter or Moon Girl? Moon Girl. Uh, um, one moment, guys. I forgot to log into something. I forgot to log into what's my yeah. I forgot to log into my Marvel game. I try to keep a constant login because you unlock things. Uh, I got like 3 Marvel games on my phone that I play. 2 DC. This one is Marvel Mystic Mayhem. I love the designs of some of the characters in this. Okay, let me unlock. Okay. One moment, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to unlock some things. Right now, I'm on a quest to get Storm. I'm trying to get Storm right now. So far, these are all the characters I have. So I got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. got Sleepwalker, got the Hulk, got Angela, Misty Knight, Psylocke, Echo, Lady Bullseye, Doppelganger. I don't even have Spider-Man yet. No, how mad I am about that. Thank you. But yes, thank you. That's all I need. I'll finish. I'll log back in later and play some. It's like a strategy game. It's fun. Uh, where are we? Um, okay. Karen Manister was raised as a weapon by yeah, but it's still kind of stupid. Like no, she doesn't get away with a lot of that stuff too. She no you know I'm no she no excuse. There's some excuses and there's some, but then there's also a lot that she shouldn't be excused for. Like no, she doesn't get away with it. Just because she was raised. No, she was brainwashed. Yeah, I get it, but still, she should know. There's certain things she should know right from wrong for a lot of stuff. That's dumb. Don't she can't excuse a lot of that stuff. Who is the face of Resident Evil in your opinion? The face of Resident Evil. That's a good question. Who? There would be a lot of people that would say is Leon, but but notice here's the thing. Leon is only in the even number games. He's only in the even number games. Chris is in the odd number games. So is Jill. You know, look, Leon was in first period in Resident Evil 2. He came back in Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 6. That's it. So think about it from that point. You think he would be in the ninth game? So it's touch and go. Some would say Leon, some would say Jill. You know, it's hard. It's really hard when you think about it. Um, it's pretty much like Detective Conan. Oh, Ted, I love that. I love Detective Conan. Imagine this: William from somebody asked this question before about. I think somebody asked this on one of my Q&As about what if uh uh Bakovich, from Wolfenstein and GI Robot. So I know. Do you like sauerkraut? Travis says, not really. I rarely put sauerkraut on my hot dogs if I do eat hot dogs. Most of the time, if I'm putting anything condiments on my hot dogs, it's a little bit ketchup. I'll do relish. I love relish, and a little bit of mustard. And it can't be regular mustard. It's got to be honey mustard. I can't eat regular mustard for some reason. So don't mix with me. I like Dexter. I think Dexter is smart, but he got a big way. His ego is one of his, but he's smarter than Jimmy Neutron. He's smarter than Jimmy Neutron, and and the thing about and I could see them working together, but Dexter would hate Jimmy because he'd be like, all your experiments always mess up. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, he would get on Jimmy hard time, like big time. Like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You stupid! Get out of my laboratory! I mean, he was just, you know, come on, daughter, we're out of here. Like, there's a there's a chance a Predator versus TMNT crossover. Remember Marvel doing crossover again with DC, so there's a chance yeah, they're doing with DC, but they're not gonna do it with DC right now. But they're playing. They're not really doing crossovers like that. Marvel's still very strict on what they're doing. And the only reason why they're doing with DC, in my opinion, in some way, is because they can make this with it. And if they did do a Predator a Ninja Turtles crossover, it won't be Predator. I can tell you that right now. They wouldn't do that. No way. Will you ever stop hating Hot Rod? Fuck Hot Rod. There you go. Fuck him. No, my hate for characters don't stop. I If I don't like them, I don't like them. They never changes. I don't give them. Fuck him. You remember the Underworld movies? Just curious. I do remember the Underworld. Kate Beckinsale, Celine. She can bite me anything. No, I'm sorry. I'll stop. Uh, why did you? Why do you think? What did you think they would actually? Why did you think they would? I didn't. I didn't never. I didn't think that. I didn't never think. I just didn't understand. I'm like, why are they doing this? I never thought Chris was a bad guy. I was like, why is he like? I just was wondering like, what the hell? Like, I was like, this has got to be a swerve. I was like, this has got to be a big swerve. And he first he came in this Resident Evil 7 at the end, and that he would just call himself Redfield, and then he came in the 8 or the Village, and then it was just like, I'm like, what the hell? Like, uh, so yeah, who should play Chris Redfield in what, a movie? As far as I'm concerned, no more movies for Resident Evil, no more live action movies, because Hollywood just does not seem to know how to get this this franchise, this property right. It is probably the easiest thing to do, and they fuck it up every time. Just leave it alone. Like y'all do not know what y'all doing. And there's this new Resident Evil coming out, and I think it's not even going to be anything like it's like, then why are you calling it Resident Evil for? Just, just, just leave it alone. Do you remember Chris River punching a rock like when Hulk reference was? Yeah, I mean, yeah, they the rock stuff is funny. That's funny, but it's all right. Uh, let's see. Let's see. What we got? Wait, hold on. Let's see. Who should play Resident Chris Redfield? I still got to answer that. Well, there was the actor I thought could have played Chris. He was in Hawaii Five O. The remake. I thought he could have made a good Chris. Uh, but again, I don't care for any more Resident live action Resident Evil movies. I threw my hands up with that for because they just fucked that franchise up again. They don't know what they're doing. They really don't. Um, Blue Guardian asks, "What's my favorite Resident Evil game?" Favorite Resident Evil game. I always love the first one. I'll always be, but I loved I love four. I love four. Four was great. I love four because that was the beginning of changing the perspective of the game. Instead of the clink 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 move around. Yeah, yeah. It was like over the shoulder, which I liked. I appreciated that. Um, I love five. I know five gets hated a lot. I don't. I love five. Um, because I actually liked Chris and Sheva together. I like that it was really nice. And um, six was just they tried and failed with six. They made six just became an action game, which Resident Evil should never be, just purely. And I enjoyed when they did seven. They brought it back to like kind of survival horror. I just I didn't mind the first person stuff. I like the Baker concept, it was, but yeah, and then when they did Village, still kept it first person, and you know, Lady Dematresk, she was tall, and her daughters, I felt bad for Ethan. Ethan just got completely thrashed in every game. Like it's like, oh my god, like he's getting hurt already. Like in the first minute he gets his hand chopped off by his it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like it was crazy. Like I felt bad for Ethan. I really did. Uh uh Sam, he should have directed the Resident Evil because of Evil. I I wouldn't have mind if Sam Raimi uh would have did Resident Evil. Uh I know he was in talks of doing a Resident Evil movie. He would have been another perfect one. But yeah, look at all like it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't hate the Mila Djokovic movies I just don't like the fact that her character got is overshadowed by the core or OG characters. She's the main focus, not Chris, not Claire or Jill or Leon. All that it's her, and I'm like, she's a made up character. That's my problem with it. I'm like, what the hell? And then they try to do that last one, and no, they don't. They don't get it. They just don't get it. Uh, he will never like. Yeah, yeah. I won't. Um, Next question. Do you want a new prototype game, and which one of them is your favorite out of the two? Would I want another prototype game? Yeah, I'd take it. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed them both. The first one is probably my favorite. Hey Chris, good to be back with you and all. What's your favorite Mission Impossible movie? Favorite Mission Impossible movie? Uh, Ghost Protocol. I think Ghost Protocol was my the original will always be my favorite because that's what started it all. But Ghost Protocol is up there as one of my favorites as well. Um, yeah. Uh, Marisha wants to marry Zangief. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's because Zangief can like match her in strength. Is in Infamous games, do you play as the bad guy or good guy? Good guy. I'm never a bad guy in Infamous games. Kindness always matters. Do you agree? Yes. Little kindness goes a long way. Acts of kindness is more important than anything. Uh, so basically, if you see someone that needs a little assistance, like let's say you see an elderly woman carrying bags upstairs, do yourself, go help her. Go help her. You know, you're on a bus or a train or something like, and you see a pregnant woman standing, offer her your seat. Like, hey man, you can take my seat. Stuff like that. Like, acts of kindness. Like, it's too many low lifes out here that won't do that. I do that because that was embedded in me since I was a kid. Respect your elders, do all that stuff. It's just I hope they make a new Darkness game. Um I wouldn't mind a new Darkness game, but I wouldn't want it a shooter. I was that was to me what was disappointing about the game. I didn't want it to be a shooter game. First person shooter. Are you watching Hell Teacher Noob Nub? No. What's that? Uh, is the true new punk rock. Yeah, I get it. Uh, let's see. Next question. Are you a fan of Silent Hill? I like Silent Hill to the degree, but to me, I don't mind it. But if you would ask me Resident Evil or Silent Hill, I'm going Resident Evil. I was more of a Resident Evil guy because once like the survival horror games start, yeah, I know there's a new movie I think coming out with Return to Silent Hill. I was like, okay, I didn't see it, but yeah. Nintendo Switch 2. Do you have it? No, I don't. Uh, did you hear about Deadpool being in event? More likely he is probably there's. I say this much: more than likely, there's going to be another round of casting seats that we haven't seen. I do not believe that's the entire cast in general. If in Doomsday, because if Secret Wars is going to be the last movie of the MCU now, because they already stated that we're gonna get in a reboot, like a relaunch of like the universe being one. Fine, because in some cases, like you want to see the X Men mix it up with Avengers characters, other characters. Like it was fine to see like for example, Fantastic Four was in a different Earth on a different Earth. Okay, but you want to see them. And the fact that once they announced Secret Wars, I knew what story, Secret Wars story they were taking. They weren't taking the original Secret Wars. They were going to do Hickman's run, where it was the incursions. All the universes were going to collide, and Doom took over, and he was like God and everything like that. Yeah, I knew they were going to go there. When they announced the Nintendo Switch 2, I thought this will be a failure, just like the Wii U. I really thought this was going to be a failure. I was wrong. Ryu will always be the face of. Ryu will always be the face. Luke, I don't care what they tried. They have tried and tried and tried and tried to make a new face for Street Fighter. You're not, because when you think of Street Fighter, who's the first person you think of? You think of Ryu as the first person you think of, not Luke. They tried that in Street Fighter 3. They tried to have Alex as the new face. Didn't work, you know. So yeah, Luke, you could throw Luke on the cover all you want. I don't care. Like he's good. He ain't Ryu. Um, have you ever read the Rippaverse? If you have, I have heard about it. I have seen I have seen posts about it, and a couple other people have told me about to check it out. I've even gone to the websites and stuff. So, um, and I'm always on Kickstarter too. So, like when I see, I'm always a big Kickstarter supporter. So yeah, I have heard about it. Not too much to really give a thoughts on it yet. Adam from Street Fighter. Why do people? Why people do not like him? Who said they don't like him? Never heard anybody say they don't like him. I maybe you have. I have never heard anybody not like Adam. He's. I think Sagat wouldn't like him too much because he's like a failure. Sagat was his teacher. Um, is that it? Hey, there's a lot of characters for guy I don't get. Yeah, there's some. Uh, Blue Guardian says, "Bye, Chris. Bye, Guardian. Thank you for coming through." And let's see. Sagat will always be the king of Muay Thai, even though he's too big for Muay Thai. He is way too big. Have you ever seen a Thai person that big? There's no way. That's the one thing about fighting games I don't like is whenever they make a Thai person and they're a Muay Thai fighter, they always proportionate make them completely to what they're not. You know, you don't have you ever seen a Thai person over 6 feet tall? No, Thais Thai do I've never seen a Thai person. They're strong, but they do not get that height wise. And it's not just Sagat. There's Faku Ram from Tekken. Look how he is just completely jacked. His his body proportions is just so weird. I'd be careful on the Ripperverse, Chris. Since the guy who runs it is Eric July is known to be a grifter on YouTube who sprouts out nonsense about Marvel and being woken. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I'll take your word for it, but I but I have heard about it, and I heard about the Ripperverse. I've heard about that. Just like how uh people should check out why am I forgetting the name of the book? Uh it's a werewolf book. It's really good. It's I'll think about it when I'll probably come back to my head. How do you think Sagat would beat Jack Hama in a fight? Well, first of all, the moment Hama tries to bite Sagat's gonna fucking knock his teeth down his throat. And Tiger uppercut, knock his ass out. Like Hama always biting people. Um, hmm. Oh. Uh, let's see. Top five actors of all time. Top five actors of all time. Wow, that's a tough one because when you think, well, one is definitely someone that is from the same area that I'm from, where Mount Vernon, New York. Denzel's up there, so that's one. Tom Hanks. Um, but I'll use these because these are actors that I can watch any movie of theirs and I'll be. I love watching. I'm gonna keep action heroes out of it. Okay, so I'll keep that out of it. I'll just do actors who are well rounded. How about that? So Denzel, Tom Hanks, um, Sam Jackson. I'll always Sam Jackson. Julianne Moore, because I got a crush on her. So, and uh, one more. Um, Well, she's gone now, but I would definitely throw um Eartha Kitt. Oh, so up there. Yeah. Yeah. I wanna learn Thai fighting, Thai boxing. That's what they call it, Thai boxing. Thai boxing, Muay Thai. Whole body is a weapon. I mean, your elbows, everything is a weapon. Guys get hit. It's and there's also another Thai martial art as well. It's a little different than Muay Thai. If you ever watched uh, uh, the anime on Netflix, Tegan Ashura, there was a fighter. He knew it looks like Muay Thai, but it's not. I forgot the name of it. But it's cool. Were you a fan of Heavy D and the Boys? He's another Mount Vernon native. Of course, I met Heavy D long time ago. Nice guy. Rest in peace. I support any people that come out of Mount Vernon, where I'm from, Mount Vernon, New York. So Heavy D has a statue not far from where I am that's dedicated to him. It don't even look like it's anything a memorial to him. It's just weird. It's right in front of this building, and I'm like, that's supposed to be whatever. Uh, how could Iceman beat Johnny Storm? Who says? Well, how could? Well, I don't know. I never thought they would fight. I knew they teamed up before, but they never fought each other. I keep listening to the Sinner soundtrack. Sinner soundtrack is great. How I love how Sagat when he went to. Uh, it's weird that he even turned to being a villain in general. It doesn't make sense really. It's like why did he join Shadow Law? I don't get it. You know, was it because of the fact that he lost to Ryu, or I just don't get it. But I'm glad that he's no longer with Shadow. He's not. Have you seen the movie Weapons? No, I still need to see Weapons. Uh, is all Marvel characters are from New York? No, not all Marvel characters are from New York. Um, no, they're not. The reason why a lot of them are from because of the creators. Most of the creators, most of the Marvel, the heavy hitter Marvel creators, like your Jack Kirby's and your Stan Lee's and your Ramitas and all. Where do you think they're from? They're from New York. That's why New York is such a character. New York is just as much a character in the Marvel universe that as the characters themselves. Um, it's not as big as a character in DC, but in Marvel, that's why most of the time I prefer Marvel over DC. I don't mind that DC does fictional cities, but the fact that when you have in Marvel, they actually are doing real cities and real streets and boroughs, and it's like when you're reading that stuff, you're like, and for me personally, who's in New York, I'm like, I know where that is. I know that street. I know where that is. Like when they say the Baxter Building is on this street, I'm like, I can walk. I'll go into the city, and I'm like, that's the street right there, or the where the or where the Avengers mansion is in Central Park. I'm like, yeah, I know that part of Central Park they're at. Yeah, that's real. I was like, okay, I love that. But Marvel has fictional countries and fictional cities too, but they really focus on they really focus on the the real cities. But again, not every like Moon Knight's not from New York. He's born and raised in Chicago. He's from Chicago. Um, of course, Logan Wolverine's not from New York. We think Wolverine's really from Canada. He's from Alberta, Canada. Um, uh, uh, Carol Danvers. If yeah, Carol Danvers. I think she's from Boston originally. Yeah, like they're not all from New York, but they just occupied New York. Like, and I love that there was a somebody actually there was actually a map of New York City, all the five boroughs, and they showcased where each hero kind of represents, like where they patrol. Or so, you see Hell's Kitchen, and like, oh, there's Devil. You see Harlem, and it's like, oh, that's where Luke and all of them are. Cloak and Dagger, another one, are not from New York. They migrated to New York, which is a really Dagger is from Cleveland, I believe. She's from Tanny. Tanny is from Cleveland. Her mother was a actress, is an actress. Tyrone is from Boston, and they both. And when he was a, he stuttered a lot, and so he ran away from home because his family didn't. Tandy ran away because her mother was more focused on her career than her child. They met in New York City. That's when they got captured and got experimented on, and that's how they got their powers. You know, they're not mutants; they're mutates. Everybody keeps thinking they're mutants. Cloak and Dagger are not mutants; they're mutates. There's a difference between mutant, mutate. Spider-Man is a mutate. He's a human mutate. He didn't get his powers. He wasn't born with his powers. He they were given to him. You know, he didn't have the X gene. Richard and Mary, Richard didn't have the X gene because, yeah, the X gene comes from a male. It comes from the male. So no. Lethwy. Thank you, Travis. There you go. Lethwy. That's the other Lethwy. That's the other Thai style that I do. How do you feel about the Hulk being in Spider-Man brand? I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him. You can't give him a if Universal is not gonna let them do a Hulk movie, then let him have him being a supporting character in the movie. Do you think Metal Sonic will be the villain in Sonic 4? Most like, maybe. Um, I love Batman episode where the Joker says, "I'm crazy enough to take no Batman from the IRS. No, thank you." Yeah, I remember that episode. I hope we get a new high school fighting game by Cap. You talking about Rival Schools? I want to run. I've been wanting a new Rival Schools game for a long time. There have been two. Um, it would be cool to get another one where the old guard or maybe the teachers or so like that. But anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap that up. I'm gonna thank everybody who came out, and I'll answer Angel's question. Do you want to see a Young Avengers again? Do you want to see Young Avengers? Yes, I do. I do. And hopefully they do it. But again, everybody, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it very much. I had a fun time. Went a little more than I wanted to. I try to I try to do mostly I try Tuesdays. I'm gonna go back to Tuesdays, guys. 8 p.m. Eastern instead of Wednesday. Today I was just like I was busy yesterday, and so I didn't get a chance to do it. So we'll go back to the regular schedule.